Do you want headphones?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
This is wild.
I like the headphones.
I like the. I really. Yeah, I
Keep them
know.
on.
They
No,
really-
I like my guests to wear headphones because then they are plugged in. I've
I
done
really
this enough
like them.
times where like I know where my median is, so I can
Yeah.
kind of stick
Yeah.
close to it. But like
Your volume levels are much more satiated than ours.
that's also just me in general. Like it's
Yeah.
funny. I do this
I love
stuff. I do public speaking, but I'm really a lot more of an introvert. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'll just talk quiet, normal.
I love it. It's a calming tone you
So I'm
have.
very introverted too. Like,
I'd love
but
you.
I like going out. But I am like I love being at home and just doing nothing, or like not even nothing. I just like being at home more than going out sometimes.
Oh.
What's the one where it's like you're both? Isn't that a thing?
Look, everybody is basically kind of both, right? The whole point is that how quickly do you find yourself getting drained from being at a party or with a lot of people or something like that?
So I'm
Do you find-
definitely an extrovert.
You're extrovert for sure, Noah.
I don't.
Because I get pumped up when I'm around people.
Yeah, you get energized. by
But
it.
I am also really good at talking to myself.
I'm notorious.
Dude's just a fucking psychopath.
Psychopath for me is that like if I'm in the party too long and I just don't have anything to engage in, I just get bored and leave.
yeah. See. Yeah. I know. You. What's the word where you just leave?
Irish exit.
Irish
I-
exit.
Yeah, baby.
Single
Noah's
party, I
just.
smoke
Noah,
bomb
I'm just
and I'm out.
Irish.
Noah's just. What's the where you? Noah's just schizophrenic. That's why he's like. I talk to myself. Yeah, I talk to myself.
No, that's other people. They're just not there.
That's what a schizophrenic would say.
Who knows what you're talking about better than you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just have conversations with myself partially to practice accents. So it'll be like one guy's Scottish, one guy's Indian, and I don't know why
hit
they're
us with the
talking.
Scottish one. The Scottish one is good.
Oh wait, maybe another drink. The second one's gone. Wow, where's the other paloma? There we go.
There's the bottle here. Oh, the other Paloma. Listen to this. Wow.
That's great in the headphones.
Ole.
Really
Shell out
picked up
that
there.
money now, Nestle. Let's see what's going on.
Shout out Audio Technica. one sec.
Pour that, and I'll do a little commercial here.
The bubbles.
Introducing Ole Paloma, the drink for you. Listen to that sizzle.
Ever wanted to
Dude.
get drunk but not?
Try our non-alcoholic version.
Dude, that sounds insane in the mic.
You guys are having the time of your lives being plugged into this.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Anyways,
Honestly, I thought it was
we
going to be
gotta-
more stressed. Walking in, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say.
I know.
We're good.
Okay, hold on. Speaking of why we're here in the first place,
Monkey Man.
Oh,
Monkey
okay.
Man.
You guys want to start?
we're
the
starting. We start. Go.
They're starting the podcast now.
You can do your intro if you have one.
It's Raph from the Forest Creek. You're listening to the Forest Creek podcast. My two guests are really eager. You guys are loving being plugged in.
Dude, this is great.
This is fantastic.
It's just you watch the podcast videos like online. You're like, oh, that's so gas. They just look like they're having a good time. It's a fucking good time
It's
in here.
just as
for
fun
all of
being
you,
on
all of
it.
you listeners out there. It's a good time.
All we're really doing is sitting down at a table, having some drinks, and we're going to talk about a movie we just saw. Yeah, so I'm Raph, and with me today I have
Noah?
and
Jake.
when at a previous party I was talking to you, Noah.
Yeah.
Every time I've run into you at a party, we end up talking about movies.
We do.
And I always say, "Oh, you should come on the podcast."
Here's the time. We've made it.
I've decided to follow through this time.
We've made it.
I love throwing it around all the time at parties. Like, you should come on. Oh, that's great. Yeah, for sure. And then,
Networking, baby.
yeah, just networking. I don't
got it.
actually really mean it. It's just a lot of things. Because who wants? You can't talk to
What if
everybody.
you say it to someone
true.
and you like don't mean it, and then they take you up on it?
I mean,
Then what do you
worst
do?
case scenario, I sat down and did this with them, and I like doing this.
Yeah.
There you
How bad could they be?
You get high. And
go. You get a couple drinks and a couple of these non-alcoholic Olays in your.
I feel like that is the whole Joe Rogan deal. You walk into a studio, you see all these knickknacks and stuff. It's like a bit of a hypnotic experience. You sit down and you tell them everything.
yeah.
Anyway, we are back with another movie review. We picked out an interesting one for you today. You might hear about it. I'm guessing you probably will hear about it quite a bit at the Oscars. I'm just going to throw this at random. I have no idea what's going to happen at the Oscars. I'm just guessing here. It is a movie by Slumdog Millionaire / Green Knight star Dev Patel. He directs and stars in the leading role of this film. It takes place in India. It is an action film. It's a There's a lot of secret badass kind of genre movies out there. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Bob Odenkirk in Mr. Nobody.
I did not.
No.
It was like a John Wick clone about, you know, a lame accounting guy living his normal life, and then he gets sucked in back into a life of action and shows that he's secretly a badass.
Mr. Nobody type movie.
That's literally the name of
Yes.
the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, is this the one with
The guy who plays Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have seen this one.
I haven't seen
I have
Mr.
seen
Nobody,
that
but I
one.
know that's exactly what it's about.
There's like I don't know why
The
I
same
can remember
thing-
the thumbnail, but
The same idea is true of Taken
yeah.
with Liam Neeson going,
Yeah.
you don't really know who you're dealing with until he picks up the phone and goes, I have very particular set of
Yeah, or like
skills."
what's that
Yeah.
other one with
The one with, I know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
you know, okay, I'm not sus. Because I was
What's his name? Now that I'm trying to remember
what
it, I
movie I'm
can't.
talking
Denzel
about?
Washington
Yeah,
stars
yeah,
in it.
Yeah.
Oh god.
You know,
Now you can't
And now
remember.
see, everybody fucking knows what I'm talking about.
He's always checking the time.
yeah,
Equalizer.
he's all
The Equalizer.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like that. Like you don't know who this guy is.
I would posit to say that I think the exemplar of this type of movie is John Wick. Easily.
100%.
At least the first one. I'm talking about strictly the first.
Yeah.
The later ones turn into a bit of a different story. This is starting out, it's kind of in the same realm. In fact, the people who worked on John Wick worked on this film. At least that's what you guys mentioned, I think. Right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the same production company as John Wick.
It's interesting, John Wick. They work with a number of different production companies, including the guys who did The Raid. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yeah, I've heard of that one though. I saw the thumbnail.
Wildly violent martial arts movie
Love it.
about a bunch of cops trying to storm a gangster building in Thailand, and it just
Yeah.
goes wild. But this movie is, like I was saying, it kind of follows that same arc of showing somebody who's a little bit downtrodden
Yeah.
the whole way through, and then he more and more kind of turns into a badass. I don't think he was secretly a badass the whole time.
Oh no, see that's
Yeah.
that's the one part that got me. I was like, he was like so like the whole first half. I was actually telling Noah about the choreography for this is really cool because like the whole first half he's like ass.
Yeah.
He's like so bad. And like all the camera on the fight scene is like you're like disoriented, like kind of like how he would be.
There is a lot of shaky cam in
At
the
the
cinematography.
only at the beginning though, and then after like
Yeah.
after his fucking bongo sesh for an hour and a half,
His training arc.
he's like the choreography is like way better. Like
Yeah.
there's no more shaky cam when he's fighting. It's all like
Much cleaner
calculated.
scenes.
Now,
yeah.
Way,
we're gonna
like,
go over.
That's when the John Wick kicked. That's when the John Wick budget kicked in.
We're gonna go over the elements of the movie, but to start off, what's the main character's name? It's Bobby, right?
Yes.
When he said it, I thought he made it up, like
and
on
then
the
we
spot.
see
That was the
Bobby
vibe.
Bleach on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, he made it up. It's like he doesn't have a real name.
Yeah.
almost.
Oh, okay. So he did make up Bobby. Honestly, for the whole last like that first like chunk, I thought his name was Bobby, but it's not though, is it? Because then he make it up because of the
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I imagine
actually.
you don't want to give
like-
a bunch of gangsters your real name.
yeah. So what was his real name?
From what I'm
Was it
seeing
just some
here,
Indian-
it doesn't
Indian
have it doesn't have any descriptive name on him. It
He's just
says
Bobby?
Dev Patel plays Kid.
There he is. So he doesn't even have a name.
He doesn't have a name, so we'll call him Bobby for the reference of this.
Well, because
The
yeah, that's
film-
what he.
Is very artistic in front to back.
I didn't even notice the Bobby Bleach thing.
Oh,
I missed it completely, right over my fucking head.
I think they showed it a couple times, and I was like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
not. The first
I
time I
thought-
guessed, and then the second time it kind of confirmed.
I thought it was because he said he hurt his hands with bleach, so they kept
Yeah.
zooming in on bleach. I'm like, all right, why is it so important? And then it's not; it's fire.
It's
So
definitely-
Then I didn't understand, but that makes sense.
So let me
Bobby Bleach.
give like a quick synopsis here. Basically, our main character Bobby. At the beginning of the movie, you just see him kind of going about life. He's a guy who gets paid to get beat up in the ring at fighting tournaments, and he basically wears a monkey mask. He takes the fall on purpose, so we do get a little bit of that secret badass kind of vibe to it. But we come to understand that Bobby is seeking revenge against somebody. The reason for that revenge possibly tied to the scarring on his hands. He
or bleach.
or bleach.
Or bleach. You know, he
You
was
don't
using
know.
it a lot in the movie.
You don't know till later.
You don't know. You don't know who you're fighting, man. You never know.
The monkey man.
The monkey man. Oh yeah, there's like no monkeys in this movie. By the way, there's like
No.
I
No, there
totally.
is.
There's a lot of
There's,
monkey
like,
imagery. There's no actual monkeys.
A lot of monkey imagery. Yeah, there's like it's almost like you know those memes when it's like I don't know, like John Cena like fading into the picture slowly. They do that with like a fucking monkey,
They
and then
do.
you're like, and the whole time it's like that, from like that meme and What's Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's like, hey, and he's like snapping and listening to the TV. When that monkey pops up, you're like, oh, there's a fucking monkey. That's the title, baby. It's the title of the
We
movie.
found one.
Yeah.
That's true. There is imagery of it. Digital.
But we also watch that he starts off on this, you know, revenge scheme, trying to pull it off himself. It's coming from an emotionally unresolved place. The film does the thing where it kind of plays with time, where it combines a style of cinematography designed to keep you in the moment with flashbacks, so that you go back to the past, you get glimpses of what essentially
quick,
caused him.
Kind of like having PTSD.
They're
But
very
then you
quick.
come back to the, you know, present moment. It's a lot of very close detail
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yeah. It's a lot of quick flashbacks. I find the start of the movie is very quick paced. Actually, he got into the company of who he was trying to get revenge on very quick, and showed his initiative to work his way up, whether it was through good or bad means. But I believe the short clips of the flashbacks were things that were bothering him. Obviously, him staring into space and thinking about them while he's working his way up.
I think at one point pretty early on in the movie, he actually just kind of has like a little bit of a panic attack.
Yes, he does have panic attack when he's serving.
So to start off with, like, your vibe going into the movie and your vibe coming out. You guys remember what walking into this felt like?
I remember I was walking into it thinking it was going to be like a full-on John Wick action the whole way through.
Right.
But it wasn't. There was like a plot. Like more than a John
It's-
Wick
it's a
plot.
little
John Wick's
bit
plot was
more-
like, oh, kill
no,
my
I get
dog.
it.
Now he's just fighting.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
You can condense John Wick's plot down to like one sentence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
But this was like,
a little bit touch more.
I felt like I was trying to figure out what the movie was about until the plot like really kicked. Because I wasn't sure what was going on.
Did you see any trailers for this?
No,
at all?
I didn't watch anything. I went in like blind. All I knew was that he directed it, and is Monkey Man.
I walked in very similarly. It was thinking it was going to be full action John Wick movie, just like straight off the bat.
Right, so you guys were kind of on the same page there.
Yeah, 100%. But I realized probably in about the first 15, 20 minutes that it was going to be a lot more of a plot. And I actually wasn't sure because he was, quite frankly, because the start was so fast paced, I had no idea. Because I did
like
watch
you
the
had to-
runtime. I was like 2 hours. I'm like, we're 30 minutes and he's pretty close.
So that's what it felt like to me too. I was kind of in that same area because I got a glimpse of the synopsis and then I went into the movie. I didn't, you know, at least the kind of introduction, and then I went into the movie. I didn't watch any trailers or anything, but I heard there's going to be a lot of action influence, a lot of John Wick influence, and there was.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Really
But
kicked it that last half.
it wasn't exactly the same plot arc. You know?
Yeah, no. not
The
at
way
all.
this started, it looked like you're building up. Here's the secret badass, and now we're gonna put him in the den of,
Except
all
he
the
like
gangsters.
wasn't a badass like the first half. He could
Yeah.
just take a hit.
I thought he was like, okay, he's holding back. You know, there's something else about this. He's
Yeah,
not.
I
killing
thought like it was
anybody.
gonna be like he's gonna pull like out of nowhere. He's gonna start just kicking ass. 'Cause
And
he's-
then it was like he pulled out the
Monkey
gun and he points it at the dude and he's
Yeah.
shaking. I was like, oh, he's never killed anyone before. And you can see there's in this character a lot of unresolved things
Yeah.
about his past. His like literally getting PTSD.
And that's where the turnover in my head was, because the second he held out that gun and didn't take the shot, I was like, and here's the rest of the movie.
yeah,
It's like he's kind of the way I would phrase it is that we're watching a guy try to get revenge. He's a fighter, but he's not a killer.
No.
And by the end of the film, his arc is to become a warrior,
Yes.
which does entail killing.
Yes.
But-
But it has resolve behind it.
Yeah, it's more purposeful, which is part of his kind of journey, was to do it with a sense of purpose, not just out of like an emotional,
Yeah.
scarring. Because
Yeah.
it is a vengeance flick.
Yes, because they did say there's a line in the movie that says, "Don't do it for vengeance, do it for purpose."
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was a big switch over, and that line did come way later, but that is a huge, probably, the turnover theme of probably the last hour and a half of the movie.
Yeah, he goes on this journey to kind of like resolve what he thinks and feels about things.
Yeah.
You know, part of that is that hilarious trope of we're gonna take a psychedelic trip to like
Yeah,
spiritualize you, or Yeah, it is a trope, but
Yeah, it was a version
of all of the the characters getting high kind of trips, it was kind of fun to look at that swirly one with like
yeah.
weird
I actually
orange
liked the
back.
visuals a lot, to be honest. The diving into the soundtrack, I hate to switch it around here.
Oh yeah, dude. What Kendrick Lamar and everything just came out of nowhere.
It's funny,
on that
there was-
sound.
Oh yeah, they do that little montage in the beginning
Yeah,
where they're
and
like
it's just
passing
like-
something throughout the
It's like
story.
they're in
rap
Vegas,
music,
but they're like-
yeah. It
Yeah.
was straight up rap music, and then there was a turnover later. It went rap song, super spiritual music, when he was doing the whole trip thing, and then during one of the last scenes, it was full screamo rock.
Yeah, they hit like everything in
For
this.
sure. I love
They had a cappella for the credits too.
Yeah. They hit a lot of genres on the way through.
They got all the genres. Yeah.
during one of the fight scenes, at least prior to the screamo rock, they had like a kind of just a soft acoustic guitar as they're
Yeah.
fighting.
Oh yes.
Some funk in the
I
elevator.
forgot about that.
it was
Yeah,
some-
there was a lot of turnarounds in the sound. I actually enjoyed it because you
it
weren't
was
really known.
very creative. It uplifted the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of I think about the Dune soundtrack. We talked about it in our last episode.
I did think of it when
It's
those visuals were going on when he was doing the trip. Actually,
Yeah.
I thought of
I still
Spice
haven't even
immediately.
seen,
The
dude.
Dune soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh man.
Oh, I
But
have
it
seen
doesn't,
it all over
like-
TikTok.
It blends with the visuals. It doesn't divert any
Yes.
attention from them.
Yeah.
This is kind of an opposite approach.
Exact opposite. Yeah,
Right?
100%.
But it has an interesting effect, and music does kind of play a role into the story as well. One thing that you kind of notice is that when he's fighting in the beginning, the reason why he sucks is because he has no sense of rhythm.
Yeah.
He's just getting beat up
Oh,
because he's
yeah.
completely
That's
out of
what
step.
you were saying in the car about rhythm, because I
Yeah.
thought like he was
Then he
ass
starts-
the whole time.
Has that scene with the guy playing
Yeah,
the drum,
he literally
Yeah.
just
and he's learning
trains
to
with
punch
some
to the
bongos,
beat.
and then he's John Wick, like out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
He came to understand the rhythm. of
Yeah,
the-
I'm
He
a-
found inner peace and figured out how to lay down a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
He
he's
got
fighting.
Kung Fu
And then he-
Panda 2
yeah.
inner peace.
Kung
Pretty
Fu
much.
Panda.
He fell in the water. He got brought up. He dealt with it. Yeah, I think aside from the Kung Fu Panda reference, I like the idea of him coming up and it not being like a super. Obviously, he was training, but it wasn't like a super
I
intense.
thought the training was. I thought it was such an up from when he came out to fight, because he was like bad at fighting at the whole beginning, and then his training was like holding 2 buckets by his side, some barbell curls, and just beating up a rice bag
Yeah.
Yeah.
to bongo beats, and then he came out like
Well,
freaking it man.
Hey,
like
he
he
did
came. It
take
was
some
so
like toxic root of a
Yeah.
tree and
Yeah,
like,
oh,
have
yeah,
a
right,
whole
he did,
trip.
yeah. He fucking took some weird
the main
roid.
idea. Yeah, I think the main idea was that trip set him on the right path and made him find resolve with his past for that, and had more of a clear goal going into the final goal of the movie there, which was to
Yeah,
to
but
kill
then he was
the-
just so good with a knife out of nowhere too. And I just thought it was so funny because there's like all these like
It's
John
like,
Wick
instead of
moment,
putting
like,
him through
like
36
these,
chambers, they put him through 3.
Yeah, and like this, like the combos he was pulling out, I was like, no way he figured all this out from
Yeah.
a rice bag, dude, and some drums. It's
little
so
spiritual drums. You get the
Yeah.
rhythm down, and next thing you know, you're John Wick.
funny. Yeah, he
Came
was
out of
like-
it, I think, like maybe there's something to be said. It's like he came out now that he had a better understanding of himself, a better
Yeah.
understanding of what he's doing and why he's doing it.
I think that was
He can have a better understanding of like how to approach the situation.
Yeah, I think that was the right idea. And all things aside, the drummer was super cool, actually. I think it was
Oh
a
yeah,
cool-
right. He was the
'cause
best part.
there's a high-pitched drum and a low-pitched drum, and he goes ding, ding, dong, and
So-
it's left, left, right, and
Yeah.
he starts getting into this rhythm and
It's a
training
fascinating
hard.
part of that kind of story because I was going to talk about this earlier. The way that that's first introduced to you is the guy sitting there with the drums and he's like, this is the male and this is the female. And then he plays them in like a conversation to each other. And then he starts playing them in a harmony and that's when you get like the rhythm out of it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like here is the male and female parts kind of like in a harmony. And you get something similar to that to when the person who's looking after the temple is pointing off to like Lord Shiva.
Yeah,
Who is a statue that you can see is like clearly a statue of 2 different Hindu gods put together.
Yeah, they said the male and the female one.
There is an interesting part to the story. I was thinking about it, like I don't know exactly how it fits in or how exactly it's meaningful. It's like part of the culture inside of the movie is that there's some kind of revolt against transgender people in India, and they all gang up inside of a temple for safety to stay out of,
And they're
all the danger.
all jacked too.
They're all out there working with bongos and doing.
No,
curls
they're
and-
like when the I was telling this with Noah, when the one guy came up to go, when they're all like getting along in the temple.
Yeah.
And one of the trans
yeah,
Buddhists is
there's
like, yo,
one
let me
trans
try,
guy.
and she's fucking she's yoked.
Yeah.
And you're
They.
like, yeah, sorry.
It's like, why
And
they
he
hung this
didn't-
thing up in the first place.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. You go, oh.
They also just turn out to be like a gang of assassins.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
that
Where'd
all
that come
about?
from? Yeah,
I
literally,
was like-
the trans army came
I was
through.
like, oh, maybe they were after these people because they were a cult, not because they were trans.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They
That
had,
was
like
that was a bit of a
sides and
drama.
shit.
Yeah.
Where did that?
One of these girls just brings out like a bundle of dynamite.
Yeah. Like fucking, it's a Looney Tune episode.
So
That
there
one
will
caught
be
me off
spoilers in
guard.
this podcast. I'm sorry I didn't say that up ahead, audience.
None
but-
about a monkey though. There's like, it's all this other shit.
There's one visual of a monkey when he
A lot
when
of
he takes
man,
the
no
mushrooms.
monkey.
Are you
That's my consensus of my whole review is a lot of man, no monkey.
I feel like that's actually pretty fair to
Right?
say. Because we did have that thing we were talking about.
And
as we
just
were
like
exiting.
that, the review's over.
Yeah, there's a review.
Oh, it's-
A lot of
Right.
man, no
Right,
monkey,
yeah.
and one monkey.
How
Good night,
many- how
everybody.
many-
You can follow us at the Foursquare. Well, that is something we were talking about as we were leaving the theater. It's like there is a scene towards the end where it looks like he's gone through his metamorphosis, his
Yeah.
transformation. He dyes the monkey mask and then he puts it on for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he like this whole thing where he's like dunking. This whole scene, he's dunking his black monkey mask in bleach, and then it comes out white, and it looks really good. You're like, yo, he's about to kick everybody's ass with this
almost-
white monkey mask on. And then you see him, he turns the corner in this dark alleyway, and he's walking up to these goons, and then he just takes it off and throws it.
You get about
And
12
then it's on,
seconds of
yeah,
action.
and you don't even see the mask. It's like he's in the dark. You can't even see it with him on, really.
Yeah.
So he just throws it off, takes it off, throws it to the ground, kicks their asses, and then you're like, oh, maybe he'll go back for it. No, he goes inside. And that's it.
in
You
my
never see
head,
it again.
I was like, okay, he just walked with it in the streets to blend into the
Yeah, that's
Diwali
what I thought
celebrations.
too, right? At least to blend in,
Yeah.
but like, I didn't see one person in that Diwali montage of someone wearing any monkey mask at all. So I feel
saw
like
an
he would
elephant
stick
mask.
out either way.
There's an interesting amount of religious undertones throughout the
Yes.
whole
Yeah.
movie.
That's what
Yeah.
that's where the big change on.
One of the main villains is like a guru-esque kind of
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the leader of a certain
some kind
religion.
of strange religion gang
Yeah.
that's
He has a
appropriating
lot of
land
followers,
and
yeah.
assets in India. And
He's Jake Paul.
yeah, he's Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul decided he's taking parts of the United States and he burns down a village. And
That's
Yeah.
where our hero is born. I
origin
guess.
story.
Yeah, that's where the origin story starts. In terms of, that's where the person that he's trying to kill is the leader of the police.
He's got like a kind of hit list going on, and his main villain is this leader of the police who did some bad things to his mom. And
Yes.
Martha Wayne, that chick, and now we have Monkey Man instead
Chris
of Batman.
Brown on her.
Yeah.
Chris Brown.
So he watched her be burned alive, and that's a pretty valid reason to want
After
to kill him.
he hit her over and over and over with a whip.
Yeah,
Or his belt.
His
If
belt.
we're in
yeah.
Same
spoiler
thing,
territory,
depending on what you're
the scarring on his hands turns out to be from his burning mom, who he
Yeah.
was trying to wake up,
Yeah.
even though she was dead.
Yeah, because she's on fire.
Yeah,
It is not Bobby Bleach.
No.
no.
It is
No.
not Bobby Bleach,
It's-
which had us confused actually, because he told right at the start that it was.
Yeah, he
Bleach.
said his name was Bobby.
Yeah, it's like you can kind of tell that. Why would he tell them the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's here to try to kill them.
which is fair.
It's like he bought a gun before going in to meet the woman. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who
yeah.
I thought was going to be a much bigger character. She didn't really turn out to be.
Yeah, she's
No.
just kind of fucking the manager of the restaurant portion
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
gang.
Just kind of the gatekeeper of
Yeah.
the plot, almost.
Yeah, she was just a means of a way up for him, I believe.
There was it felt like you were getting a quick tour of like maybe some of the poorer and darker parts of like an Indian culture, Indian city.
Yeah.
It doesn't
when
really
they're-
specify
yeah,
exactly where you are.
Yeah, when they're driving that fucking that jacked up moped he's whipping around
Oh, the
half the
tuk-tuk.
movie.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, that thing
License
was some
plate.
JDM shit.
Been in
That
a
was
tuk-tuk
crazy.
before?
license plate read "sexy boy" on it.
Did
Just
it?
So you know, yeah, it was a 5.3 XY and then boy on the front.
That's awesome.
Shit was slammed to the ground.
Wait,
Custom plate.
Custom plate.
have you guys never played driven a tuk-tuk before or get?
No,
I haven't, but that
I've
thing had 11,000.
But that's not no normal fucking tuk-tuk, buddy. That had nitro.
It was a souped-up tuk-tuk.
That thing had NOS.
Every time that thing came out, it was like the Fast and Furious soundtrack the entire time.
like-
I was waiting for what's his name, Dom.
Vin
Vin Diesel to
just
whip around the corner, yeah, and
Just
save
shows
the
up in
day.
a Mustang and like they show up at the same red lights.
Yeah.
Like,
As he's driving through a building.
that's
Yeah.
the same thing as Tokyo Drift right there, but
Literally.
in India.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the red line on that thing was 11,000.
Yeah.
So she had a.
She had a lot of fucking kick.
I don't know why I paid attention to that, but that thing could juice.
Yeah. I love how, like, in the back, like, at that one scene, he's like, the Indian guy was like, hit the nitro, hit it. And then he hits it, and they fucking, like, rocket past this couple just playing chess in the middle of the
Yeah.
night.
Or like these people like
It's
taking
so
a nap and they
funny.
went too fast, so they just went
Yeah,
back.
so they, like, woke back up. Like, they showed how fast this moped was fucking going.
At least 80.
It was. I think the religious part, actually, when I'm thinking back about it, first stuck out to me when you have basically the guy who's running these fights that Bobby fights as Monkey Man.
Yeah.
He's the same actor who does District 9, and he's in Hardcore Henry as well. I don't know. If you've ever seen him.
I have seen
the
Fantastic
in the ring, right?
character actor. Yes.
Yes, yeah, him. Yeah, I was about
He-
to say I recognized him from.
But yeah, he opens up with this speech where he's like talking to people, talking to everybody in the crowd, and he's like, some of you are Muslim, some of you are Hindu.
Oh yeah, it's like
There might even be a closet Christian in the back.
and then everyone
Yeah.
boos.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In India, the major religions
Yeah.
are Islam and Hinduism, and they clash all the time in fun places because there's a major cultural difference.
Yeah.
And then what did he say? Is like the only thing that we all care about is
The Indian rupee,
yeah,
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a scumbag place, but
Yeah, it kind of shows
the
you right
hood.
off the bat, though, like
Yeah.
what is the attitude of religion here?
yeah.
Which is interesting
Gangster.
because at some point we have like a fake sacred religion through the guru guy who runs the whole deal.
yeah,
All the people in between don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they'll profane anything. And then you have where you would expect a lot of people to be rebelling against them, you know, that temple of trans people who's hiding away and they're actually very spiritual,
Yeah.
you know, by contrast.
Yeah,
So it's an
100%.
interesting overview of the whole.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I find they didn't explain a lot of religion, but I think that's okay. I think they just showed that there is a lot of diversity in religion in this,
Yeah.
and that just like it feels like a lot of chaos. Honestly, in my head, I have a lot of brown buddies, and I understand a lot of different religions between Punjabi and Hinduism and Buddhism and between everything, and even I was confused. And and I think that just plays into the chaos of this whole country was just
It's-
crazed over.
Yeah,
A lot of
it's like
different-
it's taking place in India during a very fictitiously, like,
Yeah.
you know, chaotic time.
Yeah, it's not just one side versus another. This is
Yeah.
just everyone's in disorder.
There's a book called Nine Lives by an author named William Dalrymple, who basically he's a journalist who goes to India and he just interviews a bunch of different people. And what the book shows is kind of showcases the diversity in religion in India. Because
Okay.
even like Hinduism itself has like hundreds of gods.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
100,
very
yeah.
diverse, and you know it'll vary between one side of the temple and the other, not let alone one side of India and the other.
Yeah,
Right, and there's the influence of Buddhism, which originated there. The thousands of variations upon variations of Hinduism,
Yeah.
and then now, like I mentioned, Islam, and it stretches.
yeah,
So you can't really stick your thumb on. At least for me, as being someone who's outside of that, I can't really stick my thumb down and be like, "This is it. This is the one right thing."
yeah.
But I do recognize there is like they're pantheistic in the sense that they believe in more than one god, but they tend to be monotheistic in practice, and like we just focus on worshiping one god or you
Yeah.
know one aspect of God or something.
Yeah, it was very turned around in terms of Like
Yeah,
you couldn't pick one that you would side with in the movie at all. That's the best way.
Yeah, at least if you're somebody without any background to this,
Yeah.
it all seems very foreign to you. So
Yeah.
like you're trying to follow the main character and stick with that story.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of what you have to do in this movie in terms of there's a lot going on religiously. You just trust in really his resolve that he found with the I guess trans religion.
The trans temple
religion in the movie.
I don't know really what their religion is. It's
the
just
best way to put it.
characterized
Yeah.
by a bunch of trans people hiding in a temple. But it's interesting in the flashbacks when you go to him when he's a little kid, he's like always reciting prayer. To
Yes, the whole time.
G God the whole way through.
Yeah.
So it is like interesting that it seemed like his sense of purpose almost seemed to break with his childhood trauma, and then he has to like regain it almost.
Yeah. And I think that's also a big part of the movie is that his whole identity is based around this story of the monkey man who was a religious figure. And you see parts of this monkey man at the start, and you see little flashbacks of like murals and lots of visuals of it.
I'm gonna take a crack at the name. It was like Hanuman.
Yeah, something like that.
It struck me that that's like kind of a little bit similar in some respects to the story of Sun Wukong, who was the Chinese Monkey King.
Yeah,
and he shows up in a lot of kung fu movies. That's why.
Who is the one who flew
with Jackie Chan? Right.
He's actually part of the inspiration for Goku.
Oh,
yeah,
that's why Goku had like a monkey tail.
I need that one.
Who's the god that flew too close to the sun with the wax?
Icarus.
Icarus, yeah.
Yes.
I saw a bit of Icarus in that
too,
as well. Okay, yeah.
Because the story does begin with like, and this is true of Sun Wukong as well. It's like trying to get something that's supposed to be out of your reach.
Yes.
In this case, it's like, oh, the sun is not really a mango.
Yeah. Which is funny when you say it, actually.
when I kind of put it like that. But that's like when people are like, what, Jesus moonwalked on water or something. You know, it's like same deal.
100%.
But then, same thing for Sun Wukong. It's like eating of the fruits of immortality that he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
And then Icarus is the Greek myth variation where the kid flies too close to the sun.
Yes, and his wax wings melt and he falls to his death. In this case, it was supposed to be a peach, and it was a sun, and he ate it. And then he got shamed. Mango, sorry.
Mango.
A juicy mango.
A juicy. It was a big juicy mango.
Wanted to make that clear. The whole.
If the sun was a mango, I hate to say it, I'd probably eat it as well.
Nice juicy little mango.
Especially gives you powers.
And he got shunned for it.
There's some of the monkey imagery in there is like this picture of him, kind of the Hanuman kind of like opening up his chest, and you see like a glowing.
This is when he's on drugs.
It's also, it shows up in other parts, I think, and like even later on when you're seeing him on the wall, he's like holding up his mace, but he has like a glowing heart. It's almost like the sun he ate like went into him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that actually.
I almost thought it would be something symbolic of like Bobby's journey the whole way through.
Yeah.
Because like he does kind of go out of his reach to go get his revenge.
Yeah.
And then these mean gods recognize what he did, and they kind of challenge him, and they do what they did to Hanuman, but then he emerges as a warrior in the end. And you see this tableau in the end, and you see all these dead people, but then Hanuman is still standing up.
With his mace, and that's where I was referencing the first imagery of that whole story. Is the only time you see it again is at the very end in this huge tapestry when he's going for the religious leader of the opposition in this movie, I guess you could say. Yeah.
So, what did you guys think about like the atmosphere of the movie, the setting, the kind of?
That's one thing I thought about a lot actually. The whole movie is physically, brightness-wise, dark. And the only bright scenes are flashbacks from when his mother died.
Yeah,
and
the happy ones.
Yes, the happy ones, and when he is finding resolve on the water of life, for better lack of better word.
Yeah, just coming out of Dune too.
Yeah,
she just hands him that sandworm tear bottle and drinks it.
Yeah, instead of blue eyes, you get a bright scene.
Some spice.
Yeah.
Jake, what do you think about it?
I didn't even pay attention. I was waiting for John Wick shit the whole beginning, and then he kept getting his ass beat. the whole half he gets his ass beat, and then
This movie
money.
kind of took the carpet out from under
oh,
him.
it did. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. I went into it thinking it was like a full action
Yeah.
like Extraction
I thought so too.
like John Wick, and then
Do
it
you
wasn't.
feel like you were underwhelmed because of the amount of that action in it? Not really.
A little. Like I expected there to be more. Like there was a ton at the beginning, but it was all like a lot of shaky cam for all the first half fight scenes, and then
It's like somebody told you.
But then like he went through his awakening, and then it was good. So I thought that was cool because like the whole beginning, you're like
Yeah.
disoriented with him getting his ass kicked. But I don't understand why he's getting his ass kicked if he was this good.
Yeah.
Like there's like stuff that had nothing like.
It's almost like
He
somebody
went,
told
like-
you we're gonna go watch the Avengers, and what you actually watched was It's a Wonderful Life or something.
Yeah,
like
like it was just.
like-
I
Yeah.
thought there was gonna be more like the action was good.
Yes,
But after the
especially
bong,
towards the
after
end.
the
Yeah,
after
I
the
really,
bongo
really
stuff, it got
enjoyed
to
the
what it
bar
was.
scene at the end with the screamo metal and
Yeah.
the guitar
Even
you were
the
talking
parts
about.
leading up to that.
Yeah.
I really all of it was good choreo. I really enjoyed the fighting.
I like the
It's
scene where they're
straight up.
fighting in the kitchen. I thought the
Yeah.
choreo in there was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was really good.
But I also go back to the parts where he's not good at fighting. It's like those are still, they ring out to me as good fight scenes. I do like
Yeah.
watching the main character take a hit and know that
Yes.
he's not immortal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they do throw that in there. He gets hit hard. He's
he
he's
gets-
bleeding by the end.
Yeah,
a
he's
lot.
pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood in this one too. Like it always kept like going down to like his hands covered in blood.
Like a
and,
very
like,
excessively gory movie.
not like
but
in
it's
that
not- there
way,
is a
but
lot
it
of,
was like
No, but
violence.
it's
fine.
it is realistic in terms of like none of the fighting is so heavily choreographed that he doesn't like he bites people a couple times.
he
Like,
bites the same dude twice actually,
bites his nose off twice.
twice,
It does showcase
one
like
nostril at a time. He's
the
Yeah.
desperation.
Yes,
of his
100%. And I actually enjoy that because realistically, we're not all John Wick.
yeah, no,
No.
oh yeah, or when he like finishes off to kill the guy with the knife in his mouth.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
kinda hot.
you gotta get. Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, like it's desperation. Like this guy's, it's not just straight up fighting. It's fighting for his life. It's not all just whacking around and being the best fighter there.
So the cinematography of it, there was a lot of areas with shaky cam that I
Yeah,
was not a big fan of. Like I got
dizzy at one point. I was like,
I'm never a big fan of it, honestly.
I never am. I want to see what I'm like.
Yeah. I understand the intention behind shaky cam in terms of like being as screwed up as the main character.
It's just
or
it's a lot when you
disoriented as he
pair it
is.
when you pair shaky cam with like a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
Because then the camera's cutting and cutting and cutting, and then it's shaky,
Your eyes
and then it's
can't.
not.
Your eyes can't track.
Yeah.
There's a great
I'm
example
not-
of this in like Taken the whole way through. Another secret badass, Liam Neeson, is all the fight scenes are all shaky cam, really quick cuts. They do this one thing where he's like jumping over a fence in one of them, and it's like 3 different angles of him jumping over the fence to like show you that
He's
clearly
jumping over a fence.
Liam Neeson's getting on in years a bit. Like we needed to do multiple takes, get a chair, and make sure it's entirely
That's why he's
safe.
getting. That's why he's getting old. He's been can do the same thing three times, 3 different camera
And that's just
angles.
for the perfect cuts.
Yeah.
There's probably friggin' 23 times.
Whereas if you see
just dripping in sweat at the end of the fucking.
John
Fence
Wick is like all in these wide shots
Yeah.
with no cuts
Yeah.
the whole way through. So
And
you
I
just go
love
back
that.
and
Well,
forth
that's the
watching
yeah.
him fight, and then
Yeah, John Wick doesn't have like no cuts. Well, I guess have you seen Extraction?
Yes.
And Extraction 2, like
yeah, they do a wonderful job.
one
Another
full-
John
yeah.
Wick clone, if we're being perfectly
Oh yeah,
serious.
but that's the only one you can like genuinely compare to John Wick.
Oh yeah, they do a wonderful job.
Phenomenal.
They
The
do.
second one, I thought I was watching a Call of Duty cutscene the whole way through. To be honest,
Oh, literally, yeah, yeah.
But
MW5.
pretty much.
there is in Extraction. There's like you don't see a lot of movies do like the camera guy is running with
Oh
proper
yeah, like that's
stabilizers
like basically like a
for
stunt
2
crew.
minutes.
It's basically they put
And that's
stuntmen
very cool.
behind the cameras and made the stuntman film the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that's why like it's just everything's so good.
It's like when you actually get to see and focus on the violence. That's what makes moments like you were just
Yeah.
referencing the part where he's finishing off a guy with a knife, and then he can't hold the knife, so he does it with his teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's that they took the time to focus on that. They showed it. They didn't cut.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes all of the violence in John Wick very striking. There's no cuts. You're just watching
Yeah,
this.
you feel like you're there the whole time, whereas with a lot of cuts, you feel like you're there for the most exciting parts,
Yeah.
purely for the movie or entertainment part of it.
Yeah.
That said, the entire movie in whole, I was not disengaged at any point.
No.
I was never sitting
Yeah,
there
yeah,
and
no.
dozing off.
I wasn't like upset that I didn't get as much of the John Wick type beat stuff that I thought I was gonna get, but I was just
It was paced well to
Yeah.
where I didn't have any issue watching the whole thing. Because there are some movies that you sit there and you're like, oh boy,
This is getting on.
this is brutal. I've been watching something very slow for 20 minutes.
yeah.
Avatar 2 drove me up a wall.
Yes.
It's like, we're still here?
Yeah.
What's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
It's been 3 hours and I'm watching Blue Planet.
Yeah, that's true. As visually striking as they were,
Yeah.
it was a lot
Yeah.
of visual content.
And then he has like, oh yeah, our original cut was 10 hours long.
You're like, oh,
It's like,
fucking
bro,
what?
You tried to Lord of the Rings, all of them in like one go. Just-
I'd love to watch Avatar 2 Extended Edition.
I'd like
all
to
10
watch.
hours.
If you broke up each hour into like a Netflix episode, I could get behind this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed seeing that because I was talking to my buddy beforehand. He's like, "Oh, how long is the movie going to be?" He's like, 3 hours or whatever. Because I find a lot of movies these days, and don't get me wrong, a lot of long movies are paced that way for a reason. Dune 2 is a great example. I thought the pacing was unbelievable, but I actually really enjoyed seeing a 2-hour movie that was paced well the whole way through, and I didn't feel like it was rushed at all.
I will say, I know it's haram, but I will say that I was not that big a fan of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because of how long it took.
Wow.
I mean, like, I got it. I get the picture. I watched it once. I saw it in theaters, but then it's 4 hours.
Yeah, what
Wait,
was it,
once
3
upon
hours?
a time, how was 4 hours?
I think it's 3 hours 47
Something like
minutes,
that.
something like that.
it is long.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, there's scenes of stuff.
Well, 'cause
there's
there's,
a
like-
lot of driving that doesn't need to be in there. Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he'll like Tarantino
just-
was just so fascinated by those characters, so fascinated with the time.
2 hours 40 minutes.
Really?
2 hours 40 minutes.
I don't know what I saw in theaters, but it was really long.
I have to say that movie is actually
I
the
really liked it.
top of my list
Yeah.
for Quentin Tarantino.
There are scenes in
But
it
I
that I'm
also
like,
am a
this is
sucker for a
incredible.
long movie.
I think it's great. I'm a big Tarantino fan, but I hate being in a theater for that long. Like Michael Bay's third Transformer movie.
I'll give you like it was
that kind of
Dark
stuff.
of the Moon, brother.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was actually where I thought that for a moment there was one part in it. It's like around the point where he's like going to like where the girl's from.
Yeah.
That part of the
Italy.
movie-
No.
Italy.
He's talking about the ranch.
The ranch. Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. When
What
yeah,
these people? Oh yeah, the Manson family ranch.
Right. Yeah. When he goes to the ranch.
Spawn Ranch.
It's at that point. Yeah. It's at that point in the movie where I'm like, okay, like that's when the movie starts to feel long.
Yeah.
For me is when it's like kicks in. We're like,
That
okay,
was
there's still
definitely-
like
It's like, bro, are we watching you change a tire right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that
what-
was definitely the slowest part of the movie. 100%.
it was like that little.
He was
Well,
like, well,
After watching that movie, I read this book called Chaos, and it's all about like the CIA in the '60s and Charles Manson and all that stuff. I highly recommend it. It's pretty awesome. But after reading that and learning everything about Charles Manson, it's like now I get it way better. Now I know who all those people were and how
Yeah.
like what they did in real life. So and you appreciate the last scene a lot more too. But
yeah.
yeah.
If I could direct us back to Monkey Man here, it's,
Oh
Please
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
did you feel entertained by it?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think
was not
that there's
disappointed.
that moment during the shaky cam stuff where the fight scenes like really disengaged me just because there was just so many cuts and shaky cam that I was like I can't even tell what's happening.
You can't track.
You can't even track what's going on in this fight right now until there's like a little bit of a longer cut and then you're like okay and I know where they're at.
Yeah.
But then like the whole after he goes through his bongo tributions or whatever, then it's like I was like all the fight scenes were like dramatically better. Like it wasn't cutting; it was all like one.
No, I'm into that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think I try and find myself trying to enjoy the earlier scenes more because I think my eyes can track it. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, I can keep up with this. Probably not. Like realistically, it's a little too quick for the human eye.
Yeah.
But you piece it together the best you can, and it's not too long to where you're stressing about the whole scene. You don't leave the scene where you're like, oh man, that was
realistic.
Yeah.
It was violent. It was desperate. It kind of kept you on your toes.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those shaky cam areas, I feel like it would have been a lot.
100%. I think it holds out enough to where you're not seeing it. You're like, oh, that sucked, because it didn't.
I mean,
it was still
no,
it was
it
still
didn't
good
suck.
cinematography.
It was
just a little too much.
Like the change in the fight scene was so big.
Yeah.
Like it was way cleaner the second half, and it makes sense because he went
Yeah.
through that whole change. Like he found his inner self and like got over his trauma or whatever. So it shows like his growth.
Yeah, I think
just-
I think the contrast
Like
of it.
if I went into it thinking John Wick, I thought it was gonna be better John Wick choreo in the first half, just because that's what I went into
Yeah.
thinking. But then it kicked in at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
I think that's the comparison. Is
Once you realize this guy is not a secret badass.
yeah, but then he is. Like after he
I
literally,
think we watch somebody become one.
yeah. I think that's a lot more of a turnover. Whereas the John Wick comparison is John Wick has always
He was
been
good
a
at this in the
badass.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just getting back
It was like
into it.
watching the monster come
Thought
back.
you were retired. Well, I guess I'm not.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I think the contrast, seeing if you saw the first 45 minutes of the movie, you'd be like, okay. If you, in terms of those first fighting scenes, if you saw the last half of the movie and then the first half, you'd be like, oh, this first half is significantly less entertaining than the last half because those second ones were much cleaner shots. They were much, they're much more visually pleasing, and the choreo is solid. Like I have nothing to complain about. They were entertaining fight scenes.
Did you notice any specific like homages to John Wick? Because I got like the scenes where he's in the club and we're watching those lights.
Yeah,
and, like, we're about to have a club fight. The color of the movies. I mean, we did say it was dark a lot of the movie, but like there are scenes where that's the thing about dark scenes is that like wherever there's a little bit of color that like influences everything, right?
Yeah, it shines out.
Which is why like in scenes like when he's in a club or like scenes where you see the light around him is all red.
I was about to say there's a lot of red.
I like that elevator
a
scene.
lot of red.
There's an elevator that is completely lit through and through with red lights and dramatic opening of the elevator. Typical. Loved it. It looked good.
Yeah.
He looked badass
it
walking
looked
out there.
good.
He's in an all black suit. Note to John Wick.
No monkey mask though.
Unfortunately, it was
Yeah.
almost like Batman coming back after day one from being Batman, be like, Alfred, why am I dressed as a bat? This was a stupid idea.
He takes off the mask.
Yeah, we got about solid 12 seconds of the mask. We'll love it while we can. But
It was cool for that 12 seconds, at least. I mean, I get it. I would not want to be in that thing. It's actually one of the things that Robert Downey Jr. hated about being Iron Man was wearing the Iron Man helmet. So like more and more throughout the movies, he stops having it on, or it just turns into CG.
Yeah.
I didn't know that actually.
I saw it in a clip a little while ago. He's like just him getting like, you know what? Either we're not doing it, or you're just gonna put 2 dots here and just CG it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna wear that metal thing anymore. It's like I kind of get it. It's like
Yeah.
Christian Bale not being able to turn his head in the Batman cowl in the beginning, you know?
Yeah, full body turn to look to the left.
Alfred. That's part of what made like the impression of him so funny.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's true.
When you see someone turn like that, you're like, Alfred.
What are you doing?
How did you feel walking out of the theater?
I liked it. I went out liking it. Like I felt like it was a happy surprise that I didn't get what I thought it was gonna happen.
It's not what you expected.
Not at all.
I
But I
like-
wasn't disappointed in whatsoever.
Quite a decent film.
I enjoyed it. I think liked it is a good word because I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Loving it would be anywhere in the 8 to 10 category for me. I think the IMDb review that I saw was pretty accurate, and I'd rate it about the same. I'd rate it about 7.5. If it was on a scale of 1 to 10. That said, if I watch it again, who knows? sometimes you don't pick up details, and you're like, oh, I actually
Well,
like
yeah,
the
like I'll probably
turnover of that.
rewatch it. I did not notice the Bobby Bleach at all. I was so confused why they kept zooming in on Bleach this whole movie. I was like, what's the big idea with the Bleach?
What's going on?
His name fucking Bobby.
Yeah, I think it's a three-quarter movie.
I was about to say, I'd give it about the same, like 7.5 or for me, 7.5 out of 8.
Every movie we rate on this podcast somehow turns into a 7.5.
That's it?
What'd you give Dune?
Except for John Wick, we gave 10, obviously.
Well, yeah, John Wick,
Yeah.
every movie was exactly what
I
it
think
needed
I was a
to
bit
be.
up on Dune. Dune was like an 8 or maybe even an 8.5 for me.
I still haven't seen Dune.
Dune 2, I'm a sucker for the series.
I thought it was
hate to
beautiful.
see it.
I still haven't seen
like,
it. All I know is the soundtrack.
I thought Dune 1 was cool. Dune 2 took it beyond that. I thought it was much cooler.
I personally, the pacing on Dune 1, oh my god, like a lot of people were like, it's slow. I get it. It's a very long intro, but I think it gave so much atmosphere.
These
it
were
really, Dune
gigantic
1,
books.
like, really set the tone.
Yeah. And I think that's and that's why I think you
Like I
will
said,
enjoy
it's
Dune
set-
2.
Yeah.
Because
The
Dune
tone
2,
set.
Dune 2 is loud, is the way I'd put it, compared to Dune 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think a lot more of the beauty of Dune comes out in there.
I've
I never
seen the
read
meme.
books.
The only thing I've seen from Dune is the meme where it's like his Willy Wonka intro. And he's like, "My name is Willy Wonka," and then it cuts to like the Dune where he's like, Mercedes, and he's like screaming.
As it is written, Lisan
Yeah,
al-Khalib.
it,
Lisan al-Khalib.
Yeah, it's just that's the only I've seen that, and then like the soundtrack popping up on my For You page.
Yeah. I've watched it twice in theaters now.
You can hear us talk about Dune and many other movies at the Forest Creek. We're on Spotify, we're on Instagram, we're on youtube.com/@therealforestcreek.
What?
I'm not trying to shut down the podcast. I'm just making sure I say this now. So
Dune 2 spelled DOONTOO.
Yeah, I do
Dune
a
2.
lot of joke titles because I know nobody listens to this except me.
Well, this one's just No Monkey, All Man.
No monkey, all of it.
That's
No
the
Monkey,
name of the
All Man.
podcast.
Yeah.
I gotta name it that now.
It's No Monkey, All
Just
Man.
like that.
There was one monkey, and it was like this.
This is kind of like
They just like
That's what
faded
you
him into the
back.
fucking
You know-
background. It was like one of those like cheesy like
What was the funniest moment to you in this movie?
when that monkey came out, bro. I'm not even joking. I almost bursted out laughing in the theater, but it's such a serious moment. And then this monkey just starts fading into the background in the sky, and I thought it was so funny because it came out of nowhere.
There's some
The
good
reason's
laughs in this
funny.
movie, actually. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's a pretty dark film most of the time.
Yeah.
But like when there is a laugh, it does catch you out. Like when that brawny trans lady shows up.
Yeah.
starts
To
punching
go
the bag.
beat the rice bag, that was crazy.
I
Or-
was scared, bro.
I
She
even
was
remember there's a
yoked.
scene where it's like this kid is like who's working for an arms dealer is asking the vendors like you got to show him the way down to the alleyway to go.
Oh
buy the
yeah, and he
guns.
goes up and he's
and
like,
he's like, "Can I ride on his shoulders?" And the kid says, "You little bastard, go get a rickshaw." It's like,
Yeah, they did sneak a little bit in there. It was definitely minimal in terms of a lot of action movies. Like, I mean,
it made you really comfortable in like they're in like a really dark like thug like hood place.
That's a great way
But
to
it
put
made it, but with
More
those little
personable.
jokes and with the kids there too, made it like, yeah, this is really like a
Would-
hood gangster area, but like this is like normal for these people, so they're not phased.
there's
by
a
it. Like, they
lot
got
of
kids.
poverty shown.
Yeah,
It's mostly
but you didn't like
poverty.
see any of the poverty in this movie and go, oh.
I mean, there's
poverty.
people
You're
like
just oh, yeah, shit,
sleeping on
poverty.
cardboard, literally
Yeah.
on part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And then
That's I'd say 95%, if not more, of the city is portrayed as heavily.
at least in this thing, I have no idea what it's like.
Yeah,
in
and then
India
like
as
the
well,
main
but-
club also of this place is bougie as hell, and it's in the middle of
They're
slum
handing
bro.
out coke. They're handing
Yeah.
like that's. I think it's
Red carpet
realistically
to
it's
get
the
in.
top 1 or 2% of India, and they're like
shows you the wealth disparity. That's
Yeah.
like that
Mhm.
the
It's a-
situation
like-
is created.
within the poverty. There's just one building that holds.
I like when they're showing the guru guy the whole way through. He's like giving the most journalistic answers possible. It's like,
Yeah.
those are my disciples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but they're still complaining about bad work conditions, so I
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah.
that's going to do.
Yeah, I did pick that
Yeah.
up. That is funny. And I think that's where it shows a bit of just masking on the fact that he's behind a lot of the terrible
what is their
things.
thing? They drug deal? Are they?
All of it, like anything to do within that club and
traffic.
the main cop.
I like the part where he's like, "What about the cops? The cops are the dirtiest."
Yeah.
It's like,
I enjoyed it. I will watch it probably one more time just for reference and to pick up anything I didn't the first time, because I do that with most movies. Overall, enjoyed it. It's not really enticing or underwhelming at any point in my head.
see it in the theaters or wait till Netflix?
I'd say it's Netflix.
I say it's a Netflix because you don't need to pay to go see it.
It's
like
not
you don't need you do need to pay. Like I mean, you don't have to pay you don't have to make a whole outing of it to go see it.
I feel like films.
It is
that
good
are,
though. I definitely recommend watching it whenever you get a chance to. But you don't need like the big screen to watch it. You can watch it at home, be just as satisfied.
There's some movies that are like, oh yeah, this will be spectacular to see on the big screen.
Oppenheimer, 70 millimeter.
Sure, yeah. Or like something that's very theatrical. I think this is a good Netflix vibe.
100%.
Oh yeah.
That being said, I think Dev Patel is like shows a lot of promise.
Oh yeah.
I want to
I was
see him
about
do
to say,
something.
I want to see him direct more shit.
I want to see him doing something more complicated than this.
Yeah.
Like really, really push limits. I want to see what your version of an Inception is.
Yeah.
100%.
You know?
I think he did really good. In the fact that he directed and acted in it, I don't think.
What did you guys hear about for him acting in it? He like hurt his hand.
Yeah, you
Like,
were saying that earlier.
it was
on.
like he did a interview with Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or whatever, one of the fucking Jimmys, one of the late night Jimmys, and they put like a nail in his hand, and then I'm pretty sure he heard it in the very first scene, like when they're in the
very first time he's doing this stuff.
and he like hurt his
broke
hand.
his hand.
He's like punching
then-
a lot now.
Yeah, he had to go because I guess they were in Indonesia filming, right? So they couldn't there was in the interview he said there was complications like getting doctors down and everyone would have to leave, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So they were like, just don't tell anybody. It was just keep going, and he kept going. So the whole movie is filmed with his hand
I love stories like that, in Mad Max Fury Road.
Second favorite movie
They did
of all
everything
time.
practical, but they got to that scene where those guys are up on the poles. And George Miller was like, it's kind of dangerous. Let's not. We'll just CGI that in. And then he left. And he came back the next day and we shot it. Wait, you what?
Just for reference, Mad Max Fury Road is my second favorite movie.
I think it's up there for me, too.
First is Tron.
Tron Legacy. I got the tattoo to show for it.
Are you excited about the new Tron?
I really hope Jared Leto isn't. That's all I gotta say. I have loved this movie and had it in my top one for the last 14
Are they redoing
years.
it, or is it like a
I think it's
sequel?
meant to be a
It's
continuation.
it is a continuation, but it looks like, from what I've seen in filming, is that it's a program getting into the real world.
Oh.
From what I've seen,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I could be totally wrong.
I don't know. about
But-
that doesn't feel like a Tron movie.
I had a crazy dream the other night. This is going to sound
Or
terrible.
they've been
You
filming downtown of the Tron bikes in the streets.
yeah, I've seen them.
You can cut this out, but I had a dream the other night, and I was a Make-A-Wish kid, and my wish was to be on the cast of the new Tron, and I got down there, and I was like, this is shit.
So it was a nightmare, you're saying?
Yeah, it wasn't good. I got down there, I was like meeting Jared Leto, I'm like, this is your script? And I really hope I was wrong in that dream.
Who knows? Maybe it'll surprise us. But
I
then
re-
again, they're rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean now with
Yeah.
a lady pirate. Was the
Oh, fuck off.
I know, right?
No, they're not.
They
Just
are.
give up on pirates, bro. It's over. Wait 10 years and then bring Johnny back, and it'll make more money than you think it'll make. It'll just.
Those movies have some of the highest budgets of any movie. I believe the
Back in the
last
day,
one-
those used to be that was the playing thing. Was that Disney's gonna make another Pirates movie? It wasn't when Disney came to getting Marvel and shooting out the Marvel
It
films.
was
It changed
Pirates
everything.
of the Caribbean
Yeah.
before Marvel. They were
Yeah.
just more pirates,
And,
more pirates.
and you know what? They're super entertaining movies.
Every
They're
single
great.
Pirates of the Caribbean is exactly what it needs to be.
Yep.
And it's just a fun fucking ride.
They raise the bar every
Start to-
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some
And
of the
it's
CG
the
is
same plot
groundbreaking.
though every time.
They're great.
Oh, we need Jack to save the world. What is he doing? Oh, he's prostitution center or something.
I think that 2 and 3 together are kind of underrated.
Yeah.
in that sense. It's like it's a pretty elaborate story. There's a lot of plots going on. It's like very thematic and very well done.
Yeah, and it's funny as hell.
Oh, they're so funny.
Okay, so next movies for this podcast, we're at least this year we're planning on doing Boy Kills World.
Oh, I want to watch that so bad.
Starring Bill Skarsgård and H. John Benjamin, voice of Bob's Burgers, and Archer, which just finished recently. I love Archer. And Deadpool 3 is also on my docket.
Jake will be in on that.
I'll come to that one.
Bro,
Deadpool 3.
I've read all of the Deadpool comics between the 90s and Inversion.
I just love Deadpool.
If you do,
movies are amazing.
I don't know when it comes out, but if you do Furiosa as a huge Mad Max
I'm
fan,
thinking about it because I'm a pretty big Mad Max fan.
If you do that, I will probably be in Australia. But if we can hook up some version of a high quality Zoom call or voice, something like that on Discord,
we'll
I
literally
would
just
love to.
call you just to get comment while we do.
Oh, 100%. Even if it's half the audio quality, I would love to throw some comments in there.
And let us know what kind of movies you want us to review. You can comment on us. You can shoot us a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can email us, theforestcreek@gmail.com, and look us up for any of your media production needs, whether it's your business or your charity or your nonprofit or your ministry. We can help with video production services. Send us a message and let us know. Or you can check out what our client is doing right now at St. George YVR. St. George YVR is, check out their fundraiser. Anyway, thank you for joining us here on the Forest Creek Podcast. I'm Raph.
I'm Jake.
I'm Noah.
Bye-bye.